Why, hello there, folks. Deadly Habit here, bringing you a quick, hopefully overview of what I'm going to be doing a tutorial on for you massive synth heads. Let me just close my massive window real quick. As you can see, I've got some different things open right now, as opposed to my last video. These are free plugins that will help you analyze what you are actually doing. This is Vox Angio Span. This is a spectrum analyzer. This shows the frequency of everything that is coming through, where it peaks, everything like that. This is handy for mixing and mastering. Well, I'm not going to teach you how to master because obviously, if you're watching tutorials, you're not anywhere near that level. And also, you shouldn't be doing mastering yourself anyways. But yeah, as you can see right now, it's monitoring my voice. And you can see where I have roll-offs and stuff like that. Since it's rolling off the end in the 40 hertz, and most of it is peaking around, say, 150, and I've also got some harmonics and transients popping up in the high end. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of analyzing my voice. And up here we have Bran and Scene. This is another free plugin. It is Smex Scope. It's an oscilloscope plugin. So this lets you see the actual wave cycle and waveform that's coming through. So, and you can also zoom in, zoom out. Oh, God. I just went off the screen. But yeah, this is what the waveform is coming through. This is my voice that's coming through right now. But I will show you in a sec what it looks like with the synthesizer. Okay, so let's take it down to that. There will be links available to both of these since I'm going to be using these throughout my tutorials. They are free downloads available for Windows and OS X as well. I tried to make sure it was friendly. I'm not going to endorse any paid plugins right now because often, a lot of times, people that are just starting off producing will use that as an excuse to pirate them. And when they don't. And I'm just going to say this. When people pirate things, they tend not to learn it and read the manual and things, versus when you invest your money in it, you have more invested into it and you want to learn it. Okay, so now that I've gotten that little rant out of the way, I'm going to be doing a series of tutorials first coming through on modulation, what it is and what it does. So, here, let me initialize this sound before I go showing something complicated. Okay, so we have an initial patch right now. It's all the way over to saw, so what I will do is shut up and you should be able to see a saw wave here and Smex Scope. So if I change the timing on it, and I can freeze it as well. So there you go, a single saw cycle. So now if I go to square. Now the thing I'm going to do is change the envelope on it so you can see the sustain. It's already changed. What the hell? Amp envelope, release, attack. That's what it is. Okay, we'll turn the attack off. There should be no decay. So freeze it. There, you see you've got a square wave. But yeah, this is going to come in handy, like, if you watch my last tutorial, this should show you some of the waveform stuff. Alright, so let me load something with a bit of modulation, so when I start explaining what I'm going to be overlaying, you'll have more of an understanding. Okay, so I've got that loaded up. Okay, so modulation is basically what you are going to be changing different frequencies with. Think of it as you have the many arms of Shiva, the goddess that has, from, what is it, Hindi? I'm probably offending someone right now, but if so, whatever, let me know. But you usually see it in tutorials and stuff for like dubstep, modulating the low frequency, putting an LFO on the cutoff filter, like this right here. Oh, of course, I don't have the arrow turned on, so yes, the filter cutoff on the filter with LFO sync to it. You'll hear sync to LFO or something like that for a dubstep wobble. The LFO is your modulator. Your modulator is essentially what you'd be doing if you were controlling the knob yourself. And Massive comes with a variety of modulators included with it. You have envelopes, which you saw in my last tutorial. I'll go more in depth with those. LFOs, which you can give the different shapes, which is a low frequency oscillator, which oscillates at a specific frequency, or whatever you set it at. So right now I have it synced to a half 1 of 2 beats. And if I turn the sync off, I can actually adjust the rate by hand and do it specifically. You can also modulate it within Massive, doing it that way. The other ones they have, let's go to an LFO. I'm not using, okay, I'm using 5 and 7. All right, 6. So they have the Performer, which lets you put in this is kind of like an arpeggiator. But you can put in your own custom shapes for it. Let's see, blah, 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 factory. Let's load a preset real quick. So yeah, you could have something complex like that modulating. What other ones do we have that we will cover? The stepper. This is also like an arpeggiator, but this is just more specific to a certain level. But I'm not using number 6 right now. So this is going to be an example of a modulated bass line. Let me unfreeze this so you can actually see what's going on with the waveform as well. Just the time up. So yeah, you can see how complicated it's getting. I've got a lot of harmonics in the high end, bass end, but it's also, I've got, right now, I'll show what's going on with it. Since you might not specifically understand right now what it is, since a lot of tutorials just tell you specifically what to do, this series I'm going to explain what it is so you can apply it to your own stuff and experiment and make your own patches. So I have an LFO on this. This is the shape, but it's morphing over time. I'm using the internal envelope right here to control how this morphs over time. So it's morphing from a square wave LFO to this custom one right here, the fall one. So as it's going along, it goes up the internal envelope and back into it. So that controls what the actual waveform is that's modulating this right here. So we're kind of doing the whole Inception concept, a modulator within a modulator. I've also got some pitch modulation going on here with another LFO. And this one I'm doing the same thing with. So this is a semi-complicated patch. Once you actually learn modulation, it's not going to seem so complicated. But if you have any questions you want to get out of the way and before I get started or something like that, or make sure I address in the series, leave a comment with that question. I'll jot it down on a notepad. I'll look it over. Make sure it's probably going to be something I'm going to cover anyways, more than likely. But in the rare case that I don't cover it, that way I have some reference of what you guys want to get out of this. I'm going to be covering the envelopes, which is one way you can do. How you can customize envelopes. There's obviously presets in here, so let's go to a preset real quick since I'm not going to be saving this. But yeah, you see there's something more complex going on with it right there. Let's see, rotor. Let's see what other ones we have real quick. User jitter loop. So yeah, this is a non-standard envelope. So I'm going to show how you go about getting something like this with an envelope, how to apply an envelope to something. One of the most simple ways I can say a pitch envelope sound that everyone's usually familiar with in dance music, the 808 bass or the 808 kick drum. That is a pitched, that's just a pitched envelope. So that's how you get the It's pitching down with an envelope. It's controlling the pitch with an envelope. LFO is your standard dubstep bass type thing with where you get that. But I'll show you how to do more complex stuff with an LFO, how to morph it. We also have the step sequencer, which I can go through. That's nothing. I can probably cover. I'll cover Performer and the step sequencer within one video since it's not that complicated. There's also some other things I'm going to say that are modulation, like MIDI learning, where you can control things with internal parameters, like drawing your own modulation, which is going to be something I'll do in the final video, which is going to be more things you can do within your DAW, your digital audio workstation. In my case right here, it's Cubase. I also use Renoise, so they're going to be kind of obscure for people who don't use it, but I'm going to try and make sure you understand the concept so you can apply it to your own DAW. Like right here, let me go down to the Massive parameters. I will close Massive real quick. Okay, so more. So here, these are all the parameters and Massive I can draw in automations for. So I can automate, hand draw in the pitch automations, the filter cutoff. You'll learn what these all stand for, and also if you reference your manual. Let me open up YouTube real quick, and I'll give you an example of what I mean by drawing in your own modulations. Okay, let me find one of my releases. Okay, Deadly Habit. Pusherman. Okay, this came out on Shift Records a while ago. I think '08, a couple. God, that's more than a while ago. I forget what year it came out. This is a dubstep tune. Let me turn this up real quick. But this is a bass line, it's heavily processed, but it's something I made in FM8, so another Native Instruments synth. But I drew in all the modulations for the bass line by hand. So it's not controlled with an LFO or anything like that, or any of the internal modulators in FM8, but the filter is actually controlled by a hand-drawn lanes. So there you go, that's something with a bit more complex modulation into it, and this is something I hopefully will have you guys doing, or doing something similar with, by the end of watching the series of tutorials. So let me just pause that, blah blah blah, enough self-promo. Close that. But yeah, like I said, I'll have links to these two tools, so you can get a little bit of grasp of what they are and read the manuals and stuff for them. And I'll get started probably sometime this week with the LFO one, or when I get the go-ahead from the man running this site. And we'll start with the LFOs and envelopes. I'll probably start with envelopes, and like I said, if you have any questions or anything you specifically want me to address, leave a comment underneath this, and I will make a note of it and try to make sure that I cover it all. Yeah, now that you can see all the things on my taskbar. Okay, yeah, but like I'm saying, hopefully this will get you learning more than just a standard how do I sound like tutorial, as those don't really teach you anything. They teach you, this will have you more in the mindset of the people who make those patches that you want to emulate. The thing is, when you're doing those tutorials of how do I sound like, you learn how to make one specific patch. And you might not know exactly what the hell's going on when you're actually making that patch. You're essentially making a preset. By the time I'm done with this, hopefully you'll be able to take a preset and analyze it. Actually see what's going on with it, understand what's going on, and break it down so you can make it your own, or create your own in the same process, which is what these producers that make all these sounds that you love are doing. So by the time that you actually emulate them, they've already moved on and are innovating into something new or making new patches. But yes, I'm getting a little bit long-winded here, so I'll shut up for now. And like I said, any questions or anything you want to see me specifically address, leave it in the comments, and I will make note of it and try to do my best to do that. But yes, Deadly Habit, and I'll talk to you guys later on. Peace.